All right, let's talk about something that's probably driven you crazy if you've ever tried to build an AI agent. This whole myth of free. If you've tried to get started without a huge budget, you know exactly what I mean. Let's get into it. So, you're on the hunt for a free AI agent framework. You've seen all those top 10 articles, right? You think you're all set to start building something amazing for zero cost. Well, there's a pretty big catch they're not telling you about. And this right here is the painful truth. Most of those lists are honestly pretty misleading. They'll tell you a framework is free because the code is open source, but then they bury the real expense way down in the fine print. And that expense? It can be absolutely wild. If you just take one of those so-called free frameworks and hook it up to a powerful model like GPT-4, you could easily be looking at a bill of $1,800 a month. That's not free. That's a trap. So this really gets to the heart of the myth. The framework itself, the code you download, that part is almost always free. But actually running it, that's where they get you. Every single time your agent thinks, it has to make an API call to a big AI model, and you get charged for every little piece of data it sends back and forth. Okay, so how do we get to an actual $0 cost? Well, it turns out there are basically 3 different kinds of free in the AI agent world, and you really need to know which is which because only one of them is going to save you money. First, you've got the trap. That's the open source framework where you get hammered with API bills. Next up is the teaser, the free tier on a cloud platform that you'll probably outgrow in about a week. And finally, we have the goal. This is where you combine an open source framework with a language model that's running right there on your own machine. No APIs, no tokens, no bills. Now that we're all on the same page, let's focus on the good stuff, the frameworks that actually let you do that truly free self-hosted thing. We're going to walk through the top 5 production-ready frameworks that can genuinely run at zero cost. First up, we have to talk about the original giant in this space, LangChain. I know, people have been saying it's dead for ages, but with over 90,000 stars on GitHub, it is still the most powerful and flexible free framework you can get. That is, if you know how to handle it. So here's the trade-off. LangChain gives you unbelievable power. It can connect to over 200 data sources right out of the box. But all that power comes from hiding a lot of the complexity, which means when your agent breaks, figuring out why can be a total nightmare. Unless you're willing to pay for their debugging tool, Langsmith. Next on the list is Crew AI, and this framework has such a brilliant and intuitive way of thinking about how AI agents should work together. It's really all built on one simple, powerful question. And the whole idea is that simple. You create a crew of agents and give them roles, like a research analyst, a writer, or a QA reviewer. Then you give them tasks. They work together in a structured way, passing the results along the line. For something like a content creation pipeline, this is often so much faster to get going than with LangChain. Now, from Microsoft's entry on our list, AutoGen. This one takes a completely different road. It's not about chains, it's not about crews, it's all about conversations. The practical benefit here is just huge. Because every step is just a message in a chat, you can see the entire history of what each agent said and why. This makes debugging so much easier. That conversational loop also happens to make it the best free option out there for building agents that write and execute code. But what if you're not a developer? Or what if you just want to build something super fast? Well, that's exactly what Flowise is for. It's the only real no-code solution in our top 5. It's pretty much what it sounds like. You get a canvas, and you just drag nodes for your models, your tools, and your prompts, and then you connect them. Seriously, you can build a working chatbot in a few minutes without writing a single line of code. And yes, you can still connect it to a local model to keep it completely free. Okay, and finally, we have the dark horse of the list, Agno. You might have seen it under its old name, FIDA. It has a much smaller community, but if you're talking about pure performance, this thing is an absolute powerhouse. This chart says it all, really. In a direct comparison, building a research agent, Agno was way faster than LangChain. That might not sound like a huge deal for a single task, but if you're running hundreds or thousands of automated jobs, that speed difference becomes a massive advantage. It's clean, it's fast, and it just punches way above its weight. All right, so we've covered the top 5, but the biggest mistake people make is just picking the one that's most popular. The right question to ask is, what are you actually trying to build? Because it really is all about matching the tool to the job. If you're building a simple customer service chatbot, start with FlowEyes for a quick prototype. If you need an agent that can actually write code, AutoGen's conversational style is perfect. For a content pipeline, Crew AI's team-based approach is ideal. And if your main goal is just getting clean, structured data out of an AI model, a specialized tool like Pydantic AI is going to be your best bet.
Okay, enough theory. The best way to really understand all this is to just build something. So let's quickly walk through how you can get a genuinely free web searching AI agent running in the next 30 minutes.
The process is actually this simple. First, you'll install a Llama, which is the magic tool that lets you run these powerful models on your own machine. Second, install Agno, our underrated performer. And third, you just write a few lines of Python code to create your agent and run it. And just like that, you've actually done it. After those 3 steps, you have a fully functional AI agent that can browse the web to answer your questions. No API keys, no monthly bills, and absolutely 0 hidden costs. It's all running entirely on your machine, for free. So now you know the truth behind free frameworks. You know the top 5 that can actually run at 0 cost, and you have a clear path to build your very first one. The power is genuinely in your hands. So the only question left is, what are you going to build next?